Mechanical drawing self-taught. The drawing board. To draw curves that are not formed of arcs or parts of circles, templates called curves are provided. Its surface should be flat and level or a little rounding so that the paper shall lie close to its surface, which is one of the first requisites in making a good drawing. Which of the following best introduces the paragraph? It is not intended or necessary to enter into an elaborate discussion of the various kinds of drawing instruments, since the purchaser can obtain a good set of drawing instruments from a reputable dealer by paying a proportionate price. It is recommended that the beginner purchase as good a set of instruments as his means permit. A drawing board should be of soft pine and free from knots so that it will easily receive the pins or tacks used to fasten down the paper. Okay, so we are talking about the drawing board. So this sounds like a good introduction. And in the next line, I'm talking about its surface. So that refers to the drawing board. Its surface should be flat. So I need to say ITS, right? Its surface. ITS apostrophe is not a word, right? So option A is wrong. And there is the plural pronoun, and this is they are. Its edges should be straight and at a right angle one to the other, and the ends of the battens in figure 1 should fall a little short of the edge of the board so that if the latter shrinks, they will not crease. What is the figures? Where is that figure? Okay. Drawing squares or T-squares as they are termed are made of wood, hard rubber, and steel. Okay. Now, what is it saying? Its edges should be straight and at a right angle, and the ends of the batten should fall a little short of the edge of the board so that if the latter shrinks, they will not crease, tear, protrude. Oh, they will not protrude, right? The batten should not come out of the board, so it will be C. The size of the board, of course, depends on the size of the paper. Hence, it is best to obtain a board as small as will answer for the size of the paper it is intended to use. The student will find it most convenient as well as cheapest to learn on small drawings rather than large ones. Okay. Yeah, so option A and option D are the same. You can use a full stop or a semicolon between two independent sentences. But let's come back to this. Since they took less time to make and cost less for paper, although they require more skill, they take, right? They take and cost. So we need they take and cost. So it can't be B, it can't be C. They take, right? So it has to be D. Although they require more skill to make, they are, yeah, so we are, yeah, so I will go with the full stop here because we are anyway using a semicolon here, so that will become too long. Although they require more skill to make, they are preferable for the beginner because he does not require to reach so far above the board, and furthermore, they teach him more quickly and effectively. Yeah, so I don't need and are preferable, however, and yet, that is understood. So just A. It is necessary to enter into a description of the various kinds of drawing boards in use because if the student purchases one, he will be incorrectly informed of the kinds and their special features. If the student purchases one, he will be incorrectly informed. It is necessary to enter into a description. So they are talking about the different kinds of, because if the student purchases one, he will be duly, right, in due course. So it doesn't make sense to say anything else here. On the other hand, if he intends to make one, the sketch in figure 1 will give him all the information he requires, save that As before noted, the wood must be soft pine, well seasoned and free from knots, while the battens should be dovetailed in and the face of the board trued after they are glued and driven in. To true the edges square, it is best to make the two longest edges parallel and straight, and then the ends may be squared from those long edges. Drawing squares, as they are termed, are made of wood, hard rubber, and steel. So I need commas, right? Because I'm talking about items. So not C, not T, and not A. Okay. The writer wants to, a beginner sketcher should take into consideration his drawing board. Okay. Beginner sketcher. Enter into a description of the various, because if the student purchases one, he will be okay. Yeah. Then if he intends to make one, okay. A beginner sketcher should take into consideration his drawing board. Yeah, I think I'll start because it sounds like a good introductory statement. So before sentence one, there are several kinds of T-squares. In one, the blade is solid and it is shown in figure 5. Okay. In another, the back of the square is pivoted so that the blade can be set to draw lines at an angle as well as across the board. Okay. Which is often very convenient, although this double back prevents the triangles from coming close enough to the left hand side. In the improved form of steel square with pivoted blade, the back is provided with a half circle divided into degrees of a circle so that the blade can be set to any required degree. Okay, so which refers to an explanation of figure 2, that is this one. We're talking about a half circle, so sentence 4. Okay. In another, the back of the square is pivoted so that the blade can be set to draw lines at an angle as well as across the board, which is often very convenient. Although, so obviously you can't use a semicolon, so this is out. This double back prevents the triangles when used in some position from coming close enough to the left hand side of the board. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I'm trying to, basically my main sentence is that the blade can be set to draw lines at an angle as well as across the board, which is often very convenient. And then I want to kind of give a break and say, although this double back prevents the triangles from coming close enough. Okay. I'm just going with A because the use of the dashes is not very clear here. Okay, let's see what answers they chose. Literacy 1. Okay. D, B, C, A, D. D, B, C, A, D. And 17. A, A, D, B, D, A. A, A, D, B, D, A. Okay.